So we begin with the news that rocked Washington and Kentucky this week. On his 83rd birthday, Senator Mitch McConnell announced he will retire when his 7th term ends. First elected in 1984 under then-President Ronald Reagan, he holds the record as the longest-serving Senate party leader in U.S. history, with 18 years in that role. State Republican leaders credit McConnell with not only reshaping the federal judiciary, but making generational change in Kentucky's local politics. In recent years, McConnell has faced several health issues, including fall-related injuries and brief freezing episodes. While speaking, McConnell made the announcement on the Senate floor, expressing gratitude at the opportunity to lead and serve the Commonwealth.
7 times, my fellow Kentuckians have sent me to the Senate. Every day in between, I've been humbled by the trust they placed in me to do their business right here. Representing our Commonwealth has been the honor of a lifetime. I will not seek this honor an 8th time.
McConnell's current term will expire in January of 2027, and the race for his seat is already starting to take shape. Former Kentucky Attorney General and gubernatorial candidate Daniel Cameron says that he is running in 2026. And on the Democratic side, Louisville Representative Pamela Stevenson says that she plans to run. Congressman Andy Barr, Kentucky businessman Nate Morris, and Senate President Robert Stivers have also said that they may be interested or are considering a run. So, Senator Bledsoe, I want to start with you here. This is your party. In fact, you had the chance to introduce Senator McConnell at a Lexington Chamber luncheon not too long ago. What does Kentucky end up losing here?
A monumental figure in Republican politics for our state, no doubt. 40 years is hard to almost put into perspective. The fingerprints that he has had on local elections, state politics, and certainly the federal level will probably only be really appreciated long after he has stopped serving, and we can look back and really see all the different ways in which he's impacted. But he has been a phenomenal figure and certainly influential for our state.
Senator Thomas, same to you here. I understand, probably not as, well liked in terms of the political positions, but is there just as much respect on the Democrat side?
There's a lot of respect for Senator McConnell. As I said today on the Senate floor, I don't know of any Democrat elected official who's been critical of McConnell since he announced his retirement. I think Mitch McConnell has a distinguished career that he and Kentuckians ought to be proud of. 18 years, the longest serving floor leader in the Senate. That's tremendous. He's done a lot for Kentucky. Certainly there are things that detractors will point out about him, but now it's not the time to do that. I will leave it at this. I think if there's such thing as a Hall of Fame for all U.S. senators, Mitch McConnell will be in that Hall of Fame.
It's easy for people to sometimes generalize. In fact, I saw some comments last night. Well, Kentucky's still a poor state. Did he really do all that much? And as you were just mentioning, it may be a little bit long after this until we fully realize what happened. But is there a few examples that y'all can kind of point to that say Senator McConnell was instrumental in making these things happen for the state?
I'll defer to Senator Bledsoe to answer that question.
Well, I think on a couple levels. One, on talent recruitment and getting young people involved in politics. He has had hundreds of interns who have seen firsthand the political process and are now engaged either in politics themselves as elected officials or in advocacy or in policy making, which is amazing to have a tie to that. I would look at the infrastructure and funding that he has. I mean, certainly the Brent Bench Bridge wouldn't even be probably a conversation that we'd be having if it were not for his influence. The number of infrastructure investments that they've been able to make through appropriations, certainly even in the educational space, we have quite a bit. So he has been truly transformational. And on a personal level, he knows every person that he has touched in the state. He reaches out to them. He has sent me notes and cards just checking in, letting me know after the accident that he cared about me and wanted to know how I was doing. He cares about the things that we care about. And you may not see that personal side of him, but he has been truly a friend to the state, and I think it's going to be pretty amazing to see, kind of in hindsight, where we've seen his fingerprints.
Well, politics is politics, as we all know, and there's another part of this conversation that is also the race that is going to be coming together to replace Senator McConnell. We've already seen some names being thrown out there. Is there any thoughts on how many more names we may end up seeing without maybe getting into too specific?
Well, Buddy, there'll be more names for sure, and it's going to be very interesting. This is going to be a very contested election, and I think you'll see some excellent Democratic candidates come forward. I fully expect that. There'll be excellent Republican candidates as well. I was surprised to hear that President Stivers is interested in joining that race, but Robert, I'll call him Robert here, will be a formidable candidate if he gets into the race.
Since so many names are being thrown out on the Republican side for a primary, you think there's going to be just as competitive of a primary on the Democrat side?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think we have an excellent bench here in Kentucky, and I'm looking forward to the 26th race. But again, let's give Senator McConnell his due. He deserves his due. As I said, he has a long and distinguished track record, and again, he serves Kentucky well.
McConnell's own name has even been used just to describe a certain brand of politics. As we get a little bit closer and deeper into this race, how do you think it may shape to come together to be about something more than just a candidate, but about a certain brand or style of politics?
I think we've seen that with a Trump person or maybe a Rand person over the years, or certainly a McConnell person. But at the end of the day, this is about Kentucky, and it should be about the candidates that we have running and what their vision is for how they view not just Kentucky, but the United States moving forward. And I hope that ends up being more of the conversation, that each candidate on ROD side has a chance to really articulate why they're running, where they're going to be effective, what their story is, and how they see themselves impacting public policy. I hope that is the conversation and not so much a brand or a person that gets in the way.
All right, guys, we'll have to go ahead and leave it right there. The race to 2026 just getting started.